And they're off and racing for the Lanwades stud Nell Gwyn Stakes. 6 of the 10 hold Guineas entries, and Arabian Dusk, one of them, are well away over towards the far side. Saguaro Blossom and Cartwheel also front rank together with Binarella Bay. At the moment, Remaat is keeping her own company down the near side. Carliga's pulling very hard just in front of Zanzoun and Nadra. Second last at the moment for Verse of Love, who was so impressive here last autumn. And last of all, in the early stages of the Nell Gwyn Stakes, is Celestial Orbit. So they race on then, having covered the first 3.5. To halfway they go. Saguaro Blossom taking the field along from Binarella Bay in second place. Arabian Dust still right there over towards the far side of the group. Cartwheel's only another half a length back. And then Remaat, who's well in touch but still isolated down the near side. Zanzoun thinking about a move forward now. Over towards the far side of the group, Nadra may have to challenge on the wide outside flank alongside Verse of Love. They're both together, those two, and Celestial Orbit still watching on from last place. A wide open Nell Gwyn. Down they come with less than 2 furlongs to go. Arabian Dust, Zanzoun, Remaat still with every chance. Then comes Nadra. Verse of Love not quickening up. Celestial Orbit's finishing off well over on the far side. Zanzoun is the one out in front. Celestial Orbit over on the far side. Zanzoun, though, doing enough here. Up towards the line. Zanzoun for John and Thady Gosden and Kieran Shoemark. Zanzoun wins the Nell Gwyn. In second place, Celestial Orbit. Excellent run from Remaat, who held on for third.
It was Kieran Shoemark on board Zanzoun, so let's hear from him. I was just talking to John. There seemed to be 2 impressive parts about that race. One, the way she travelled, but also the fact that she seemed to quicken twice. Was that the feeling that you had?
Yeah, sure. She was still a little bit green when I hit the front, so I got there very easily and quite far out. And I was just trying to nurse her for as long as I could before I went for her. But she stays this trip fine, and she's a willing filly, and I think she really enjoyed the juice in the ground.
And do you think that's going to be important to her in her career?
Oh, you certainly wouldn't be running her on firm, but yeah, I think she enjoyed getting her toe in, but at the same time, you'd run her on some nice ground too, you know.
And compare her to how she was in her 2-year-old days. What has she learned? Has she got a little less hot?
Yeah, on her penultimate start, she was far too keen, and I thought for a second she was potentially going to run with a choke out, and I managed to just slot her in, and she dropped her head, albeit like semi-dropped her head, like she was in my hands, but she wasn't over-racing as such. But you know, the races here on the Rolling Mile, they tend to go a generous gallop, so it helped her, and she picked up really good. You know, she travelled to the 2-pole, then inside the 1.5, and she was still travelling on the bridle. So she surprised me, if I'm honest, a little bit today. I haven't sat on her much at home, but she's not an over big filly, but she's certainly trained on.
Well, it was quite a decisive win, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's got a beautiful pedigree, and you know, pedigrees like that, you expect them to be on you know, being competitive in trials as such. But yeah, thrilled. You know, she's a nice filly going forward, and she's one to look forward to for the whole team.
John, I think, is leaning towards France rather than the British Guineas, which she hasn't got the entry in.
Exactly, it makes sense. She's obviously in it. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think that's probably a sensible thing to do. And you know, if it happened to come up with you know, on the easy side on the day, that would be very much welcomed. But yeah, obviously she's in the French Guineas, so I think that probably makes sense.
Zanzoun has just won the Nell Gwyn for John and Thady Gosden. John alongside me now. Congratulations. She did that rather well, I thought.
Yeah, very smoothly. She enjoyed the ground. I mean, obviously the style, they like plenty of cut in the ground, Dubawis, but she travelled very well in the race. What pleased me was she settled early, because in her second run she came out the gate and decided she was going to sprint, which wasn't very clever over a mile, and didn't finish off well. Won very nicely at Southwell back end, and she's trained well for this, and I think the rain has really helped her, and she likes to get her toe in, so we'll always be looking for that type of ground with her.
I thought she made 2 moves, one to divest herself of the horses racing around her, and the second to deal with the horses that were further away from her. I thought that was the particularly impressive part.
Yeah, it was. She travelled smoothly into it, you say, and she went, and then she went again. Her mother was a nice filly, Franconia, 1.25 mile filly. So hopefully she'll get, this is a 7, she'll get the mile well, and we'll talk to the family and see which way they want to play it.
Yes, she's not in the Guineas, so you...
No, but she's in France.
Yes,
yeah.
I thought you might be aiming in that direction.
I think she's more that. I mean, if the filly that won the Group 1 Fillies Mile here last year turns up and she's in top order, then I'd be very happy to be in France a week later than here.
Do you think this filly might stretch out beyond the mile?
No, I think a mile is going to be her
Bang on.
top on. Yeah, unlike her mother, I think no. She gets the bit. She travels. I think she, you can go to the French Guineas, and then if you're well enough and good enough, you can come and meet them all again at Ascot.
And you mentioned in passing that she's done really well over the winter. Did it just go very smoothly for you?
Yeah, she had a good winter, and she's just been settling in her work. We've been concentrating on that after her little blip.
Yes.
She went to the seaside and got carried away, at Yarmouth. But that was a little blip there, and so we devoted our whole time to settling her. A little bit like the horse we ran in the field, and we'd done such a good job settling him, we had him right out the back.
Yeah, he looked a bit rusty, didn't he, Nightwalker?
He's rusty, and he ran on well. I like that, and I think he's going to take to the stamina side of the family rather than the quicker side, so we'll step him up in trip.
And how about Field of Gold looking ahead to the Craven tomorrow? How's his winter been?
He's fine. He's trained nicely this spring. We've been happy with him in every way. He's a big boy, carries a lot of condition. He'll need the race to bring him forward. He'll be going in there at what I would term around 85%. I don't want to. He's not the type of horse who will push it home and crank him up 100% for his first run. So whatever he does tomorrow, he'll improve on.
Were you pleased to see the rain that we've seen today for him?
No, I think he'd have been very happy. He did a beautiful job. He had this track in tremendous condition, watered to the good side of good to firm, and then the heavens open. That's life. But the clerk of the course, manager here, did a great job. And look, he'll handle it softer. He'd just like good ground, like most horses.
Okay, well, very best of luck tomorrow. Congratulations here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, usually this is the time of year when some dreams are already extinguished, but it's not the case largely for Juddmonte and the Guineas hopes, because we just see horse after horse getting into the winners' enclosure, the latest of which, Barry Marn, is Zanzoun, and she was really good here in the Nell Gwyn. I really liked the way she did it. It was quite authoritative in the end.
Yeah, she's a filly we liked a lot last year as a 2-year-old, and she obviously had a brilliant run, her first run, the July course, and lost her way a little bit the second time, but she came back and won well then, and John and Thady put her away for the winter, and she's wintered well. She looked very impressive there. She's plenty of speed, like the ground, handled the ground well, and she is an exciting filly. And
does she look like your Pouliche representative rather than here?
Yeah, she's obviously not in the English Guineas, so she'd need to be supplemented. And we have a filly that won the Prix in Prudence called Better Together with Andre Fab. And we've a nice filly in Ireland called Swelter. So we'll sit down with the owners probably next week and decide, but France would probably look a natural place for her.
Okay, and you've got a number of fillies to juggle as well for our Guineas. Would the chief one be Red Letter?
Yeah, at the minute she's probably the main one. She worked at the Cur on Saturday after racing, and she went nicely. So Jura's a little apprehensive on fast ground, so we'll see what way the ground plays out. And I think she's probably a filly that'll want further in time, but at the minute she's still on track for Newmarket.
And Tabiti is with Rafe Beckett?
Yeah, she's taken a little bit of time to come to hand, so I wouldn't think she'll make it here the first weekend in May. I think we sort of said we might start off in Lingfield in the Chartwell with her.
Okay. And Babouche, would she be a bit speedier than that?
She's a bit speedier, and I think she's going to go sprinting. So we'll start. There's a Commonwealth Cup trial in Nice, and I think she'll start off there in next couple of weeks.
Okay. And then tomorrow, obviously, you've got Field of Gold. You've already won one 2000 Guineas trial with John Quill in the Greenham. What are you thinking about Field of Gold?
Sure, look, he's a beautiful colt. He showed a high-class level of form at 2. We're probably running out of luck in Guineas trials, so I hope we haven't used up all our luck, but he's a lovely horse, and he's one we're looking forward to.
Well, it's a fabulous spring you're having, much deserved as well. Best of luck tomorrow. Congratulations today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.